Hey there, my name is Fela Abioye, and this is How to Corporate, my digital show about how successful professionals navigate career moves and money matters. Today's topic, how to build your brand, with my guest, Dr. Delonia Cooley. We all know that, whether it be coworkers or colleagues or managers or whatever, anyone who's involved in your world can either positively or negatively affect, your brand. But how much personally do you think we have control over that? I mean, is it more subjective, as in people really kind of dictate your brand because it's their perspective, it's your interactions with them, but how much of that do we personally control ourselves, do you think?
You control your brand. Is your brand. As Cat Williams said one time, self-esteem is the esteem of yourself. You, self, personal you. You control the narrative of your brand. Now, what you cannot control is the narrative of others that may have about your brand. My mom used to tell me all the time, they still lie on Jesus. So people are going to lie on you too. But if you remain consistent and true enough to who you are, you don't have to defend you. Other people are going to come in and defend you. And that's when you have done right by your brand. Nobody's ever going to be able to say 100% of the time no one lied on them or tried to change the perspective of who they are or their brand. Not going to happen. You have people still lying on Coke, saying Coke is putting cocaine in their drinks. Now, I can't say whether they do or not. I've never been to a Coke factory to see them pouring it in there. What I can say is, I kind of doubt it, probably be a little more strung outish if they were doing this kind of thing. But that doesn't change the fact that people are going to say these things about that product.
For sure.
But does that change who's that brand of Coke? Coke they just keep chugging along. Same thing with Walmart. For a minute there, Walmart, I was like, Walmart. So I went to University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, go Razorbacks. And so one of our projects was working with Walmart in my master's program. And at that point in time, I think that's when Walmart was being sued by the butchers because they were going away from having full-time butchers in the stores. Mm-hmm. And they were being accused of, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh man, the word escapes me. They were purposely shutting down mom and pop shops. They were cutting prices. So what is the word? I can't believe it.
I think I know what you mean. I can't think of it either. Like undercutting, I guess.
It's going to come to me in a minute. But they were specifically going in and underpricing. This is the accusation, Walmart, before y'all come try to find me and take my degree. The accusation was that they were specifically pricing things so low in the market that they were losing money to push other people out of the market. Now, the one thing you can say about Walmart is it's not for everybody. Walmart knows that though. But they don't care. They are going to continue to be who they are. They're going to continue to open up the stores because they realize, in Walmart's mind, it is for everybody. Tyra Banks could shop here if she wants to. Bill Gates could come in here and shop if he wanted to. President Biden could come in and shop in here if he wanted to. In their mind, anybody can come shop in Walmart. However, if you think about their brand, this is how I compare Walmart and Target. Mm-hmm. Think about the distinctive groups of people that shop at Walmart and Target. They are different. And sure. Walmart is okay with that. Oh, yeah. They are okay with that because the thing is I feel like, this is not an official statement on Walmart's behalf, but after many years of watching them and just watching their brand and reading case studies about them, they are very okay with the fact that we will take anybody from a pennier to a billionaire to come in our store. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get a lot of cashiers. We don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get a lot of customer service because we don't have time for that either. You're going to get these good groceries that are priced cheaper than anybody else sometimes. And you're going to get all this other stuff under one roof. Walmart is about convenience. Now everybody else is like, you know what? They own something. We need to start doing the same thing. So you have Target that's now super Targets. You have HEBs that are super HEBs. And that is because they realize our group of customers will sometimes dip over to Walmart because we don't have what they need.
Yeah, facts.
So you have to realize that it doesn't matter what everybody else says about your brand. Stay true to your brand. Stay true to what you do. And if it's meant for them, they will come. No questions asked. They are not going to abandon you. They might dip and put their toes somewhere else, but they are going to come back and they are going to stay consistent. So, and the way brand loyalty is set up nowadays, thanks to social media and the fact that we have access to everything from here to the other side of the world, it's hard to have anything more than just a consistent brand. You have to, because you have so many competitors nowadays. Amazon is on the come up, right? Especially with the pandemic and everybody having to be at home. Amazon is on the come up. The thing, though, that Amazon has not been able to accomplish, which I don't know if Amazon's going to ever do it. I would love to do a detailed conversation with Bezos. I would love to. Just to ask him, do you really think you want to compete with Walmart? Are you going to set up stores? But I think he would probably say, you know what, I'm good. I'm pretty good. I got billions upon billions, and I don't have a physical store. Yeah, I think we're good. But the thing is Walmart realized, you know what? He's taking a bit more of our business than we thought was going to happen. They're still true to who they are, but now Walmart had to step their game up and imitate just a little bit with the shipping and the store pickups and all of this different stuff, because that wasn't part of Walmart's brand, right?
For sure.
But they realized they had to change it and modify. Brings me to my next point. Brands are just like people. The same way we start off as babies and we grow and mature and we develop and we change over time, your brand has to be tweaked here and there. The core of it has to stay the same, but it has to be tweaked here and there as it matures. Because if you stay the same, you're going to die. It's going to die out.
I was going to say that. So as you're talking through these case studies and examples, for anybody listening, you can apply that really to the same way you would yourself, right? So if you are a brand, right, and you've got your thing going and you see another brand like, oh, well, that's interesting. I like some of those elements. I don't want to be them, right? But maybe I can learn from them. Maybe I can take a little bit of what they're doing, make it specific to myself, right? And apply some of that so I can, be better at it, right? So, because who you are today, and it's ridiculous because some people think that, okay, well, I've always been this way. I'm always going to be this way. That's the way it is. Hey, look, man, you are a dinosaur then, and you saw what happened to them. So, you have to be willing to grow. You have to remain nimble to constantly be looking for opportunities to become better. And so watching others, watching how brands do it, whether it be a corporation or individual level, how to make yourself better is always it's a part of the game. So, but I think that just well said. So
absolutely. You'll never be the best version of you if you think what you are right now is the best version of you. If this is the pinnacle and this is all I got to live for, what's the point? I'm constantly trying to find ways to become better. I am constantly challenging myself to become a better version of who I am without changing my core of who I am. I am going to try to do better. For example, think about Kobe. Kobe, I don't care what people said about Kobe. Kobe, now he's not better than Jordan. I'm not going to have that argument with anybody. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen.
We're on the same level, so we don't even have to have it. It's okay.
Okay, I'm going to say, however, Kobe was amazing at what he did. But the thing is, who did he tell you he started out imitating?
Jordan.
Exactly. So he took what he saw. He stayed true to who he was because he was a great athlete, but he got better by accepting and modifying, adapting some of the things that he saw from other players. You're not going to become the best version of your brand without changing. Amazon has changed their logo, which is part of your brand, their logo over many times of years. Coke, Samsung, Apple changed their look.
Walmart.
Everybody's modifying, exactly. And they're changing things in order to make sure they're more appealing. They make sure that they are still relevant, and they're making sure that they are still wanted. Because nobody wants something that nobody else wants. And when you become old and if not relevant anymore, nobody wants you. So guess what? Nobody else is going to want you. And that's just how it goes. That's how it works.
Yeah, no. So that's actually brings me to my next question. So if let's say I'm listening to this and I say, you know what, I want to change my personal brand. I want to figure out some different elements that I could use to become better, right? Professionally or at the workplace or in my business or whatever the case may be. Are there some maybe key elements or steps you think one could start with to start to positively drive that branding at the personal level?
My first thing will be is, who are you? You have to figure out who you are. If you're trying to change something, so for example, how can you change a tire if you don't know what size tire is already on the car? You can't change it. So when I get people that ask me, hey, I want to improve my brand image and help me with a marketing strategy for X, Y, and Z. So my first questions I ask them is, how do you see your company? If they can't answer that question, I can't help you. I can't help you. I can't help you change something that you don't know what you need to change. So the first step would be is realizing and recognizing what is your core value attributes. The second thing is once you realize what those are, is now what about those do you think you need to change or you need to add to them? So I'm going to use myself for example. When I became a professor at Texas Southern University, I was shaped by those people that I learned from. So I came in first day, we're going to do this kind of stuff. And I was, doing the professor thing like all my professors before me. That didn't work for me. The students ate me alive. I'm not going to even lie. That first semester was like one of the most eye-opening semesters I ever had. And I met Dr. Yancey. Matter of fact, Dr. Yancey is the one who convinced me to come to Texas Southern. I got a chance to talk. I was literally at another campus interviewing when Texas Southern called me. Sorry, other campus. And Texas Southern called me, and she got on the phone and was speaking to me. And basically, I was telling her, what I want to do. I always wanted to be at HBCU, but I came from a PWI, and this is what I was doing. Oh, well, primarily white institution. And this is what I was doing. And this is my dream. And she told me, why would you want to be somewhere where there are nothing like you? The institution that I was interviewing at, great institution. I do not want to knock it, but it was not who I wanted to be. And it was not where I wanted my vision was not there. That's another thing that we have to take into consideration when you're talking about improving your brand or how your brand is seen. Not only do you need to recognize who you are, where you are, what you're doing, how you want to change it, but are you aware those changes or who you are, is it going to be effective?
Well received, yeah.
So if you can't do all those few things first, you might either scrap what you got and start over, which that's hard, very hard. Or you need to change some things that go into that. So some brand changes are like for me, from being my professor from that first semester to that second semester, the students could tell you I could go back 15 years, that first group of students. Matter of fact, one lives around the corner from me. And he's like, man, that second semester, I don't know what you did over Christmas break, but you were not the same person when I came back. And that is because I threw away trying to be who I thought I should have been as a professor. And I started being who I wanted to be and what I saw myself as being a professor. And it was a dramatic difference and it was a big change. And ever since then, I've always picked up a little bit of something from my students to make myself better for the next group of students.
Yeah, no,
so it's all about what do you see and what do you think you need to change? Sometimes people just don't know. And that's the hard part about branding and personal. They just have no clue who they are and what they want to be or what they want to be when they grow up. And that's hard. It's hard to help people like that.
You hit on a lot of key elements. And one that I kind of really gravitated towards is, once you have kind of identified who you want to be, where you want to be, but are you in the right environment? Are you in the right situation? So if you're in the workplace and you're in corporate America, right? I mean, maybe you need to, maybe your brand is not in a great place in the organization that you're in or the department that you're in. And regardless of all the changes that you've made and all of the other aspects that you've tried to done outwardly, so building your credibility and all that, maybe it's just not going to change. So maybe you just need to get out that situation.
Yes, that is true.
Get out that situation. So that's something for folks not to lose sight of that too, right? Because you can do all of the work and all of those things. And if you know truly you've done that, but guess what? You have to be in an environment that's going to foster, an ability to have that positive influence on your brand and the work that you do. So sometimes it's just about changing the situation, changing what's around you. So
we no longer work in the generation of our parents and our grandparents that you have to go to a job and die at that job, especially when the brand, how you see yourself. And I say this a lot. If once your vision of what you want to do and how you see your brand doesn't align with your surroundings, it's time to change either your brand, which nobody wants to do that, or it's time to change your surroundings. It's Dr. Yancey and I wrote a couple of books. And in one of the books, we talked about that, how sometimes you have to change those surroundings in order to make sure you can flourish. People can be in one position and they're dying. I mean, like just dying. And they're great at what they're doing. And their brand is exceptional. They're dying because they have that environment is not conducive to them to be winning. But they go from one place to the other, and then they start soaring and taking off, and CEOs and executives. Sometimes that happens because your brand and your vision sometimes is bigger than where you are. And you have to be willing to go to the space where you can grow. And that's part of it. I mean, at the end of the day, it really is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've experienced it myself. So it's something that, I think people have to always remember, like, even if you're putting in the work, make sure you're not only looking inward, look outwardly so too. Still knowing that you have the power, it still falls on you to decide what you want that to be. So, so a couple more questions, right? So we're running a little bit short on time, but what about self-promoting? So, I mean, can that backfire on somebody? I mean, can you come off braggadocious? Is that an issue, right? I mean, self-promoting one's brand.
Listen, friend, listen. If you're not bragging on you, who else is bragging on you? I have been told, Dr. Yancey, I'm going to just put it on her again. She taught me that because I didn't come from an environment of being able to brag on myself. Because again, I told you I'm a small, little racist little town. I had to struggle to get the recognition that I deserved. I was actually valedictorian in my high school class, and they tried to take it from me. And my mom had to go in and fight for that because, long story short, another little girl, not brown, her mom worked in the bank locally, wanted her daughter to be valedictorian. I had been the ranked number one in my class since kindergarten. Go me. But the thing is I put in the work. And so her mom did everything she could. Our GPAs were 100th of a point apart. I had a 4.2. She had a 4.19 on the weighted grading scale. They came to me and they wanted me to accept being co-valedictorian with this girl.
Wow.
Now, mind you, on a regular grading scale, not the weighted, but on a regular grading scale, she was like 4th or 5th. But because her mom could afford to let her go take college courses and stuff outside of class, it helped boost her weighted GPA, which is what they use to calculate being valedictorian, like they do now in class ranking and stuff. And so the girl that was supposed to be salutatorian got booted from being salutatorian because of this girl. And so she told me, don't accept them. They're going to ask you that. Tell them no. My mom found out, and oh my God, if you ever meet Vera Lee, that's a brand within itself. I'm just letting you know right there, that's my mother. But if you do not stand up for yourself and your brand and you let other people know what you're doing, nobody's going to know and nobody's going to care. Because if you don't care enough to tell other people about how great you are, one, how are they going to know? And two, why would they care? Nobody cares. We live in a world of self. Me, mine, me, mine. So, and the world is busy. So I don't want to make it sound like everybody in the world is selfish. I'm not saying that, but the world is busy. And so we have to be able to create a space that, and you have to be around people that are mature enough too. Now, let me back up. There are haters. Don't think they're not.
Facts.
There are haters.
For sure.
And there are going to be people that are going to be negative about you bragging on yourself. It's one thing to brag. So let me also say, it's one thing to brag, and there's another thing to self-promote. Self-promotion is what grown-ups do. That's what we do as grown-ups. I worked hard. I managed to become because I'm the only one there, but I'm the only full marketing professor, and I happen to be a Black woman at Texas Southern University in marketing. I'm going to brag about that. Now, I might be the only one there, but guess what? Well, self-promote. But I'm also going to brag when it comes down to it with people that are in my like mind in my space, because I did that. I did that. So, but self-promoting is when we have, Dr. Yancey and I have an article that we're waiting for it to be published. When it becomes published, yes, we're going to let our colleagues know, look, we worked really hard. We collected research. We had to go through all this stuff because it's not easy to get stuff published. And we did it. So not only is it helping us let other people know what we're doing, but it also helps the university. That's self-promoting. Bragging is like, girl, yeah, I just went and got my hair done. Yeah, I spent $500 on my hair. All it costs is $50 to get it done. But that's bragging. Bragging is, it can be seen negative and it will hurt you. And people don't like braggers. But I feel like mature people, they celebrate the small wins for people that self-promote. So for example, my son, he started North Carolina A&T this week. I've been very silent about, not overly silent, but very silent about the scholarship money that he's won to go to school there. Long story short, probably as long as he keeps some grades up, because he knows his mama gonna be on that part. But as long as he keeps his GPA and his grades up, which I know he will, I think maybe out of pocket, we'll probably come out of under $5,000 out of pocket.
Wow.
Now, he's an out-of-state student. That's all I have to say.
Hey.
State tuition.
Hey.
But the thing is he hasn't learned how to self-promote. And I don't want to come off as braggadocious to other people. But my thing is that's something to be celebrated. He did that. I didn't go to one class. I didn't take one test. I didn't talk to those teachers for those referrals. Now, I stayed on his behind to make sure he can met those application deadlines. But he did that. That's something that's worth promoting. Now, it would be different if he was up there like, dude, I don't have to pay nothing. I did this and I did that. That nobody wants that person around.
For sure.
But self-promotion, it is a must, especially in corporate America or any type of professional setting that you're in. It is a must because who wants to keep the same job for 20-some years?
Exactly.
How do you expect to get a raise or a promotion if they don't know what you're doing? No. So it's okay that you landed a huge project, engineering project contract. You better tell somebody and type it up in an email. Hey, I just sealed the deal with XYZ Engineering Corp. It's going to bring this many dollars into the firm. They were excited. It creates how many positions for us. Now, I will say this. If you can, always make sure when you self-promote, try to tie it back to your organization. Don't always make it only about you. Yeah. That's the biggest difference. If you make sure that you're making it seem like, hey, it's a win for all of us, everybody is going to celebrate, except for that one hater that's going to be sitting in the corner. You know they're going to be sitting in the corner.
For sure.
Yes, you have to self-promote. You have to.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think, sometimes some folks may feel like, I want my work to speak for itself. Well, it's like, well, it can speak for itself. Just grab a bullhorn real quick and to let everybody know about it. So, because people don't always notice, people don't always notice. And, if you think you're just going to be able to put your head down, I'm going to just work hard and somebody will notice me and I'll get promoted that way or be able to move up. Not necessarily, not necessarily. And not in today's world where people want to be collaborative. People want to talk. People want to know, and like you mentioned, you want your name, your brand to precede you. To go in places where you can't be physically, right? For your name to be brought up in places in closed door rooms and closed door conversations, and so, but part of the branding, part of the self-promotion, not quote unquote bragging, is a part of that. That's a big element of it too. So, and knowing the difference between the two, like you mentioned, that's knowing the difference, right? So, but yeah, no, that's awesome. Awesome. So, man, I would love to keep going. I really would. We'll have to have you
I could
back.
talk about this all day.
I know. I say we're gonna have to make this a whole series. I think, honestly, I mean, we'll have to have you back for sure. But I really, really appreciate your time today, Dr. Cooley. You dropped a lot of gems. I really hope hope you got a pen. If you're driving, pull over to the side, jot this stuff down, because there are a lot of key gems in here that I think people can apply to whatever walks of life you're in. If you're in corporate America, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a student, whatever the case may be, figuring out opportunities to build your brand. It's a key part. It's a key part. And it's so funny because in today's world, we have so many tools at our fingertips to be able to do that. So, so thank you again. Appreciate you. I did want to at least give you a moment if you wanted to let anybody know about your contact information, or maybe, share about your business. Want to give you an opportunity to kind of share that as well with anyone listening.
So I should have had my book and held it up that Dr. Yancey and I wrote, but we wrote a book about all of this. So a lot of this information is in our book. It's called You Want to Be the Architect to Your, how's it? And here are the blueprints. I should have that book. It's right over there, but I don't want to walk off screen and pick it up.
Don't worry, she got you covered.
Yeah, I would say, but you can Google it. If you Google Dr. Delonia Cooley or Rochelle.
I'll make sure to include a link in here.
Yes, so that's one thing. So we go into great detail about a lot of information we talked about today in that particular book. As far as myself, I do own a business. It's called All Star Sports and Promotions. It is a promotional marketing company where we do a lot of different things. We have a lot of clients. We do a lot of clients with school districts and stuff, where we do a lot of their shirts and their sports equipment and their office supplies like pens, shirts, hats, all that stuff. So, but we have plenty of opportunities for that. My biggest passion, again, like I said earlier, is just being for the people. I can be reached on my LinkedIn. It's under Delonia, Delonia. So that's my LinkedIn profile name. But if you just look up my name on LinkedIn, you'll find me. I look at that a lot. I'm not really big on all the other social media stuff. So if people follow me on that, I'm not going to really pay attention. But for professional kind of things, my LinkedIn is very active. I like helping people. I really do. It is my passion to make sure that we all win. That is ultimately part of my brand, because I feel like I was put here for a bigger purpose other than just making sure I only win and only my family wins, because I have a servant heart, servant leadership. I believe in that a lot. And so when I find people that are like that, I like to keep them very close. And that is what I do. Now, I'm not saying that I'm just going to feed the 5,000 with 3 fish and 5 barley loaves. I'll be able to do that. But I try to help as many people as I possibly can. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I didn't acknowledge my family. I have to acknowledge my family. 3 beautiful children, Zachary's in A&T, go Aggies. My youngest one is here in Katy ISD. I know, no offense to TSU. I told you that, TSU. My daughter, Alicia, and my husband, Cornelius, who is an engineering architecture teacher here in Sci-Fair. So I wanted to make sure I acknowledge them as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Cooley. I have no doubt we'll be talking more, having more opportunities to have these discussions, but appreciate it. Thanks for everybody listening. Until next time. Hey, thanks for tuning in. For more content, please click the subscribe button and follow us on all social media platforms at How to Corporate. Until next time, keep building.